Listen, I told my boy Jazz, I already caught the biggest fish in Texas. About to get out here and get it in. Y'all see the water. I know who the #1 fisherman is. Even big fish get caught.
Tyson, at least for a round or two.
First time he gets
Tyson.
cracked, it's gonna, I guarantee you, his head's gonna be like, oh shit.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
How many rounds is it?
I think it's 8.
Boxing thrives on narratives, and sometimes those narratives write themselves. Over the past few weeks, the fight world has been buzzing after whispers emerged that Canelo Alvarez, long considered the sports superstar, was dropped in sparring. For any fighter, that would be a story. But for Canelo, the self-proclaimed face of boxing, rumors...
Listen, however they rate me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we got to fight, and I'm going to win the fight. As simple as that.
Can I ask you about if there's any rematch clause with this fight with Canelo?
No, it's not.
Is that something you push for?
No, I didn't.
And there's any weight restrictions to the fight at all?
No, it's not.
A lot of fighters would like to put on a weight restriction to this type of fight. Why didn't you want to do that?
Because I want him at his best. I don't want no excuses. I don't want no, reasons why, he didn't feel good or anything. I want him at his best.
of being floored behind closed doors cut deep, and when Terence "Bud" Crawford, the man preparing to meet him in one of boxing's most anticipated super fights, seized the moment to mock him publicly, it turned whispers into fire. This wasn't just about jokes or bravado, it was calculated psychological warfare. Crawford isn't simply looking to beat Canelo. Inside the ring, he's aiming to dismantle him before the first bell even rings. Crawford didn't stop at clowning Canelo over sparring rumors. He escalated the psychological gamesmanship by releasing sharp, dominant training footage of his own. The timing wasn't random. It was a taunt, a subtle message to...
He can't fight like fucking stiff. He's gonna be fighting like this, and he's gonna be shit. Bro, I come in and I was just, hand was low and lazy, and I was just waiting for you.
Canelo and the boxing world. While Alvarez was being questioned, Crawford was sharpening steel. This wasn't merely a display of form, it was symbolic. In a sport where perception often shapes confidence, Bud's move rubbed salt in the wound of Canelo's supposed embarrassment. Crawford thrives on pressure, on exposing weakness, and by hiding...
That's what probably surprised... Well, no, probably what surprised me more than anything was the confidence that he had. He was getting it with me. I was world champion at that point. And this young man came in and he really just tried to put...
Highlighting Canelo's vulnerability, he gained the mental edge before fight night even arrives. Tony Bellew didn't mince words in his breakdown of Canelo's style. The former cruiserweight world champion described Alvarez as stiff, predictable, and easy to time. For a fighter of Bellew's experience...
I'm hearing things that he's been dropped in the ring, in the gym and stuff like that. But that's okay too, because I took a couple spills, little slips in the ring, in the gym. That's okay, but we're going to see. This is going to be a good fight. I'm actually...
To dismiss Canelo so bluntly struck a chord. If seasoned analysts see glaring flaws, then Crawford, one of boxing's most cerebral fighters, will be licking his lips at the openings waiting to be exploited. Johnny Nelson added another dimension, emphasizing what impresses him most about Crawford: his confidence. According to Nelson, Bud steps into any ring and instantly owns it. That aura, that ability to control the psychological landscape before a punch is thrown, is an underrated weapon. Against Canelo, it could be decisive. And then there was Shannon Briggs, the former heavyweight champion, who casually mentioned hearing about Canelo being dropped in sparring. Coming from Briggs, even an offhand remark carries weight. The acknowledgement alone validated the whispers.
Because that's only sparring. If you get dropped in sparring, it means you're learning. Tomorrow morning you don't get dropped in the same shot. So Him getting dropped in sparring, that means he's learning on the job, so it's okay. Who cares? Alexander usually gets dropped in sparring, but he's learning on.
Further denting Canelo's image of invincibility. Derek Chisora tried to dismiss the talk, framing sparring knockdowns as irrelevant. But for Canelo, whose brand is built on being untouchable, the optics matter. Every rumor, every clip, every doubt becomes fuel for Crawford's psychological warfare. Crawford himself didn't shy away from addressing Canelo's preparation. He pointed out the irony: if Canelo truly believed Bud was too small or untested, why fill training camps with endless sparring partners? To Crawford, that's respect, even if Canelo won't admit it. For years, critics doubted whether Crawford could handle 168 pounds, but Canelo's actions, treating this fight like the toughest challenge of his career, prove otherwise. Bud's response was icy and calm, but
What is there to talk about? You fighting the best fighter in the world. You better be taking it serious. You know, that goes to show, you know, how serious he's taking me and how much he respects me. Because, you know, if I haven't fought anyone, if I was too small, if I was, you know, all these things that all the media said I was, then he wouldn't need these guys to help prepare him to fight me. He wouldn't, you know, need all the help that, you know, he's getting. But I'm happy that he's getting the help that he needs because, you know, after, you know, September 13th, there will be no excuses.
loaded with intent. By declaring no excuses, Crawford has already framed the narrative. He's telling fans when the bell rings, only one outcome matters, proving he is the pound-for-pound king. Coach Spike O'Sullivan, who has fought some of the best, insists Canelo will feel Crawford's power. This isn't about size, he says. It's about precision and timing, qualities Bud has perfected. Canelo has built his career on bullying opponents, walking them down until they crumble. But Crawford isn't built to break. He's mentally unshakable, technically flawless, and his ability to sting with shots forces instant respect. Spike emphasized that hesitation against Crawford is fatal. Once Canelo realizes Bud can sting him, his trademark forward...
This is going to be the key in this. Punching power, speed, timing, all that's good. But it's a mental game. This and this is what's going to carry us through that night.
Pressure could evaporate, and without that pressure, Canelo loses his greatest weapon. Buddy McGirt added another layer to the discussion. He believes the fight will head into deep waters, but warns that those conditions favor Crawford. Bud doesn't fade. He thrives as rounds progress. His adaptability, his ability to suffocate opponents with adjustments, grows sharper in the championship rounds. For most fighters, the late rounds are about survival. For Crawford, they're a platform for domination. Canelo has often relied on dragging opponents into deep waters, but against Bud, that plan could backfire. The longer the fight, the more angles Crawford finds, the more momentum he builds. Bellew captured the essence of why this fight is so...
It's got to go to the deep waters, you know, I mean, unless somebody slips up and get caught early. But, you know, we got to, get him into the deep waters. That's
so magnetic. It isn't just another boxing event, it's a clash of legacies. On one side, Canelo Alvarez, a global superstar whose reputation has occasionally been shielded by branding. On the other, Terence Crawford, the undefeated pound-for-pound king hungry to cement his greatness by conquering boxing's biggest name. Carl Froch took it further, calling this a monster fight and perhaps the biggest event boxing can currently offer. For Froch, Crawford moving up to 168 isn't just about chasing belts, it's about rewriting what pound-for-pound greatness truly means. Bud is daring to do what few would enter enemy territory and attempt to conquer a bigger, more established star. Meanwhile, Canelo's motivation feels different. His aura of invincibility has been questioned. The sparring rumors, the mixed performances, they've created doubt. Froch framed it perfectly for Canelo. This is less about destiny and more about survival. The stakes are monumental.
When you get involved in these kind of things, you have to just accept it. And everyone's bought into the fight. We all know the drama, the rivalry's real.
If Bud wins, he redefines the modern era of boxing. If Canelo finds a way, he rescues his fading aura and preserves his empire. Renowned trainer Robert Garcia weighed in with insight into Crawford's chances. Many believe Canelo's size and power will overwhelm Bud, but Garcia flipped the narrative. He praised Crawford's timing, speed, and ring IQ, tools that have dismantled every opponent so far. Some argue Crawford will need to fight a perfect fight, but Garcia highlighted what separates Bud from others: his ability to create perfection in real time. He thrives in chaos, adjusting and finding solutions mid-fight. Against Canelo, that adaptability could prove decisive. Garcia leaned toward Crawford by decision, but left the door open for more, because Bud has shown he can hurt bigger men. No perspective carries more weight than that of Crawford's trainer Brian McIntyre. While many would crumble under the magnitude of this showdown, Bomac and Team Crawford exude calm. It's not arrogance, it's discipline, forged over years of preparation. Bomac's words:
Crawford coming up to 168 to take on Canelo Alvarez really is one to look forward to. It's a monster fight. But is this the biggest fight in boxing? I mean, it's a big fight, isn't it? Would you say that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are the biggest fight? Two of the biggest names in boxing, that's for sure. And Terence Crawford's unbeaten. Obviously, we know what Canelo Alvarez is all about. We know what he's done. If he retired tomorrow, then he'd go down as an ultimate, like one of the best to ever do it. And so it's big. I mean, you've got to try and compare it with something.
Are chilling for Canelo. Bud doesn't fight anyone else's fight. He fights his own. That serenity is what makes Crawford terrifying. For years, opponents have been overwhelmed by Canelo's aura, but Crawford isn't shaken. He's locked in, unmoved by the spotlight. And when Bud is locked in, history shows he is unstoppable. This fight isn't just another marquee matchup, it's the defining moment of two legacies. If Crawford wins, he becomes untouchable in the history books, cementing his status as the true pound-for-pound king, a man who conquered divisions and dethroned boxing's biggest star. For Canelo, victory rescues his aura and silences whispers of decline. The mental edge may prove the difference. Crawford enters calm, calculating, and confident. Canelo enters under pressure, desperate to defend his empire. In a sport where belief is everything, the fighter who walks taller before the bell often walks out the victor. Fans know the stakes. This isn't...
People think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford, but I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Hype, it's real. Two elite warriors colliding at the height of their pride. For Crawford, victory means immortality. For Canelo, defeat could mean a reputation shattered forever. So the question lingers, is this the night Terence Crawford rules boxing, or does Canelo Alvarez have one last masterpiece left?